Hey there, gentlemen. Let me ask you something most men never say out loud. Have you ever quietly wondered, is it safe to swallow vaginal fluids during oral intimacy? Maybe you've thought about it, maybe you've even Googled it, but never dared to ask anyone face to face. Well, today we're going to break that silence. And I promise you, by the end of this video, you'll understand the truth that most men never hear from a doctor. And it might just change how you see your partner, your body, and your confidence forever. Hi, I'm Dr. Amelia Hayes, a urologist and men's health specialist. For over 15 years, I've helped men restore not just their physical health, but their vitality, dignity, and confidence. And this is one of the most common questions that men whisper in my office. You see, intimacy isn't just about performance. It's about trust, curiosity, and understanding how your partner's body really works. But so many men carry quiet fears. What if it's dirty? What if it's unsafe? What if something's wrong? Let me reassure you right now, the female body is not something to fear. It's something to understand, respect, and admire. Because once you know the science behind what's really happening, that nervousness disappears and confidence takes its place. And here's the best part. It doesn't require any pills, supplements, or complicated tricks. Just knowledge. Simple, natural understanding, the kind that leads to real intimacy. So stay with me till the end of this video. Because the most important truth, the one that changes everything about how men experience intimacy, comes at the very end. All right, let's start with what most men completely misunderstand about a woman's body and what's really going on during intimacy. All right, let's start with something that might surprise you. Vaginal fluids aren't just moisture. They're one of the most carefully designed biological systems in the human body. The female body doesn't do anything by accident. Everything has a purpose, a reason, a balance. And when you understand that, you stop seeing it as something strange or taboo, and start seeing it for what it really is, nature's brilliance at work. Let's break this down simply. A woman's body produces these fluids through different glands, the Bartholin's glands, the Skene's glands, and even the cervix. Each one plays a unique role. The Bartholin's glands release a silky fluid that reduces friction. The Skene's glands, often called the female prostate, add extra lubrication and may even be responsible for female ejaculation. And the cervix contributes a kind of fertile mucus that changes throughout the month. Put together, this isn't random. It's the body's way of creating comfort, protection, and pleasure all at once. Now here's what most men never realize. These fluids aren't dirty, toxic, or something to be ashamed of. They're actually filled with enzymes, amino acids, glucose, lactic acid, and even natural antibiotics. They protect the tissue from infection and balance the internal ecosystem, just like saliva does for your mouth. See the pattern? Nature made this for health, not harm. But because no one ever teaches this in school, and men don't have a safe place to ask, most grow up with half-truths or quiet fears. And here's the truth. If your partner is healthy, those fluids are not only safe, they're a sign of her body working exactly the way it's supposed to. The real problem isn't the biology. It's the misunderstanding. And that misunderstanding can quietly destroy confidence and intimacy. That's why this conversation matters. Because when you understand the science, you stop feeling awkward and start feeling connected. And speaking of connection, let's talk about where men often go wrong. The little mistakes about taste, smell, and safety that can quietly kill confidence in the bedroom. Let's be honest, gentlemen, this is where most of the confusion begins. Taste, smell, and safety. I can't tell you how many men walk into my office whispering, "Doc, is it supposed to taste like that? Or does that mean something's wrong with her?" And I always smile and say, "No, my friend. It means she's human." Here's the truth most men don't realize. Vaginal fluids naturally change from week to week. Just like your skin changes with weather or your mood shifts with sleep, her body responds to hormones, hydration, stress, and even diet. Eat more pineapple or berries. Sweeter, lighter taste. Too much alcohol or coffee. It might get stronger, more bitter. Even a simple change like not drinking enough water can shift everything. So when you notice something different, it doesn't mean something's wrong. It usually means her body's chemistry is simply doing what it does best, adjusting. Now, yes, sometimes there are signs to pay attention to. If there's sudden itching, burning, or an unusual smell that feels off, that can point to an imbalance or infection. But 9 times out of 10, it's harmless and easy to treat. The bigger mistake men make isn't about biology. It's about reaction. When a man pulls away, makes a face, or even jokes about it, he doesn't realize how much that can hurt a woman's confidence. She feels rejected. She feels dirty. And in that moment, intimacy, real intimacy, shuts down. Instead, what she needs isn't judgment. It's acceptance. Because nothing makes a woman more confident, more open, or more aroused than knowing she's completely accepted, exactly as she is. And here's something you might not expect. That acceptance can actually make intimacy more pleasurable for you, too. Because when she relaxes, when her body feels safe, her natural chemistry balances, blood flow improves, and everything just works better. So remember this rule. If you want better intimacy, don't focus on the taste. Focus on the trust. But we're not done yet, because the next mistake most men make is staying silent about the one conversation that could save them years of anxiety. Let's talk about that next. Here's something most men don't realize: silence kills more intimacy than age ever will. I've seen it countless times in my practice. A man in his 60s, finally finding love again after years alone. A man in his 40s, dating after divorce, unsure if it's okay to ask certain questions. They both tell me the same thing: "Doc, I didn't want to ruin the mood." But let me tell you something, as a doctor and as a woman, talking about safety, health, and comfort doesn't ruin intimacy. It deepens it. One of my patients, let's call him Mark, came to me shaking one day. He had shared intimacy with a new partner and later realized he'd had bleeding gums. He was terrified about HIV, couldn't sleep, couldn't eat. He thought he had ruined everything. We talked. I explained that oral intimacy carries a low risk, very low, but not zero. So I suggested they both get tested together. A week later, he came back smiling. Both were negative. But more importantly, he said, "Doc, we've never been this close before." It actually brought us together. That's what most men don't see when you talk openly, when you ask her, "Hey, have you ever been tested?" Or, "Would you feel comfortable if we did this together?" You're not being awkward. You're being mature. You're showing leadership. You're showing care. And believe me, a woman feels that. It makes her feel safe. And safety is one of the biggest turn-ons there is. Because once trust is built, she opens up physically, emotionally, completely. The chemistry between you two becomes effortless. So never be afraid to talk about testing, comfort, or boundaries. That conversation might be the sexiest thing you ever do. And speaking of sexy, let's talk about how to make intimacy not only safe, but also deeply rewarding for both of you. The habits, the mindset, and the actions that separate anxious men from confident lovers. All right, gentlemen, this is where science meets real life. Understand her body, then apply that knowledge. Confidence comes from preparation, respect, and daily habits that keep both of you safe and satisfied. Intimacy starts long before bed, with health, hygiene, and communication. Step 1, get tested together. Make it part of your health routine. Do STI testing twice a year. Frame it as, "Hey, I want us both to feel comfortable and confident. Let's do this together." That shows maturity, respect, and leadership. Step 2, hydration and diet. What you eat and drink affects intimacy for both of you. Hydration keeps everything balanced. Fruits like pineapple, berries, and citrus can make fluids smell and taste lighter. Reducing alcohol, coffee, and processed foods makes a noticeable difference. Step 3, hygiene rituals. Shower together before intimacy. Make it playful, not clinical. It's about connection and care. You'll both feel cleaner, fresher, and more relaxed. Step 4, approach changes with compassion. If you notice something different, odor, dryness, discomfort, ask gently. Offer solutions. Hormonal changes or medication can alter things, especially after menopause. Kindness builds lasting trust. And finally, step 5, acceptance. When a woman feels fully accepted her body, her scent, her uniqueness, her arousal multiplies. She feels safe. Her body responds naturally. Intimacy becomes more connected, alive, and real. For healthy, infection-free couples, swallowing vaginal fluids is safe. But the real power is in what it represents. Acceptance, trust, a connection deeper than biology. Passion doesn't retire. Desire doesn't expire. Silence and shame kill connection. Take care of your health, communicate openly, and treat her body with respect. You'll have safer, more fulfilling intimacy. Now, let's discuss the mindset shift that keeps passion alive at any age. Gentlemen, what we've discussed today isn't just biology. It's about connection. Remove shame, replace fear with understanding, and you stop just doing intimacy. You start feeling it. That shift changes everything. I've worked with thousands of men who thought they were too old or disconnected to feel that spark again. They learned this truth. It's not your age that kills passion. It's silence, fear of asking questions, and believing these topics are off limits. The moment you open up, talk, and learn, you reignite confidence, curiosity, and deep respect for the woman beside you. That makes intimacy powerful at 30 and magical at 60. Is it safe to swallow vaginal fluids? For healthy, infection-free couples, yes. Is variation in taste or smell normal? Absolutely. Should you be embarrassed to talk about it? Never. Handling this with confidence, understanding, and kindness protects your health. You're strengthening your bond, proving real men lead with respect. That kind of man never goes out of style. If this message helped, like this video so more men can see it. Subscribe to keep learning how to stay healthy, confident, and connected at every age. Tell me in the comments, where are you watching from? I love seeing men worldwide taking charge of their health and happiness. Remember, your health is your confidence. Your confidence is your connection. And real, lasting passion has no expiration date. I'm Dr. Amelia Hayes. I'll see you in the next video, my friends. Take care and take charge.